Foreplay episode at Barstool Sports. It is Christmas week, folks. So Merry Christmas if that's your holiday. If it's not,
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas anyways, but also happy holidays. Like I hope you actually have a Merry Christmas, even if you don't celebrate Christmas. Like you should merry and have a great time. And then also, we got New Year's coming up. We're going to speak to you plenty of times before then, but it's Christmas week. Merry Christmas.
That's a good
holidays.
Point. I like that when you say something, because sometimes you don't know and you just say Merry Christmas, and then you sometimes get these answers like, well, I actually don't celebrate Christmas. And I'm like, well, now I'm going to say, like, well, there's a day called Christmas and you can just have a merry day on that day. Like, just because you don't celebrate it doesn't mean that you shouldn't enjoy that day. Like, it's a Friday night.
I would still like to have a happy Hanukkah, but like I'm not Jewish.
Correct.
While Hanukkah's going on, I want to be having.
Am I supposed to be sad? Like, am I supposed to be mad, upset, angry?
Yeah, like, what if somebody said have like an angry Christmas? You'd be like, well, that's real fucked up. Just because I'm not like I don't celebrate that religion, you want me to have a bad? So
I like that a lot, man.
So, anyways, Merry Christmas. It's Christmas week. It's one of those shows. I think it feels like 2 weeks of stuff happened since the last time that we spoke. It was a huge weekend in the world of golf, unexpectedly. I mean, yeah, we were hyped up for this, but this was such a bonus. This was Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods is obviously what I'm talking about. And it was far beyond that. Just like it kind of at a time when we are talking about Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. It's been a very bad year if you had to judge it on aggregates for the planet Earth. And now you had a very nice ending to it with if you're a golf fan, if you're kind of a sports fan, with the PNC, the father-son, Charlie and Tiger. They drew a ton of eyeballs to the event, and it showcased a lot of other, like Matt Kuchar and his, I think, 13-year-old son. I didn't realize how good they were. You had guys like Lee Trevino and Gary Player, how old they are. They're still out there doing it, sort of like challenging the leaders. You had Justin Thomas and his father ended up winning the whole thing. So we are going to break the entire thing down. We got a ton to get to. Owens, we're going to talk about Owens real quick, are really the go-to. I was entertaining some folks at the apartment this weekend. I said, what do you got to drink? I said, actually, I've got like an arsenal of things to drink because I have these mixers and I can just make 15 different really good cocktails. Like, wow, I didn't realize you know how to make cocktails. I don't. I know how to pour liquor and ice into a glass or into a fucking copper mug. And then I know how to pour these different mixers into it. And boom, it's just delicious. So that's what Owens does. They've reinvented the mixer game. They've partnered with us on the Transfusion, which is a delicious cocktail. It's our favorite golf drink. And it plays all over the place. It plays at the 19th hole after. It plays at your home. It plays if you're watching golf or football. It just plays all the time. So they are available on Amazon. That's where a lot of people are getting them now. I'm seeing a lot of tweets, a lot of Instagrams of folks ordering it on Amazon. They're the itch to deal, ink to deal, I guess what people say. Not itch, to be weird if you itch to deal. With Publix, where you can just walk into the store and fucking buy it. So Owens Mixers, you can go to their website, owensmixers.com, and you're going to want to, during this winter season, probably whip up some cocktails. Owens Mixers is the way to do it. So big thanks to Owens. And then also, in the time since we did a show, Borrelli's has probably become the most famous restaurant in the world because of the creation of the Barstool Fund. Like, we, Barstool Sports now, and not even really we, like it's Erica, Dave, and our company, I guess, runs just a massive charity now since we did the last show. And Borrelli's was sort of the showcased restaurant as an example to the rest of the world of why Dave and Erica and so many people are doing this. So Borrelli's now, Frankie, is maybe the most famous family restaurant in the country.
It's crazy, man. It happened so fast. I remember it was like a couple days ago, and I was in the car with Dave, and that guy Marcus Lemonsis or whatever tweeted at Dave, the prophet, right? He has that show on CNBC, whatever that is. Good show. That guy's pretty legit. He goes undercover for businesses. Really successful dude. Tweets at Dave like, "I'm putting up $500,000. You will too, right?" Like basically like just like tweets at Dave out of nowhere, and Dave's like, "Yeah, I mean, like now I'm in." Like you just like, well, now that you tweet at me, I'm in. And when Dave gets in on something, he doesn't just go in. He dominates it, owns it, explodes it through the roof. That's what Barstool does. So since then, things were happening. Some tweets were happening. I was in the car on our way to a pizza review, and I was just like stressing out at home, listening to my dad talk about like call people, talking about bills and like how this is crazy. It's still going on. And we raised a little bit of money like in April, like from Stoolies and Foreplay listeners through Venmo. It was like a good chunk of change that got us through. Because you got to remember, like, this huge restaurant. So we're talking like 20 grand a week just in taxes and expenses alone, not before you even pay people. So it's like when you're down 300, 400, 500 grand for a small business, for a guy that, my dad takes he takes his payroll out of the register, basically, depending on how the restaurant does. He said it on Token yesterday. He doesn't look to make millions of dollars. He looks to put, a decent life for his family and be able to go on one vacation a year where he could drive out to like the end of Long Island, spend 2 days there and get back to the restaurant. Like, that's just his life. And when you take that away, I mean, it's not putting him on the streets, but it takes a lot of people at the restaurant and puts them in different situations. We have a bunch of people that have mortgages and all this stuff. And Dave knows this. And I asked him, I'm like, man, like, what's going on with this Barstool Fund? And he's asking me like, all right, like, we're trying to structure it around like getting them through, like, whether it's rent or taxes per month. Like, we don't know how long it's going to go. And he's really like, I'm like, man, he's asking me a lot of questions. I'm texting my dad, like, what? And he was just like, man, like, he's trying to base it. Like, what kind of restaurant needs help? And he was like naming off the things that like my dad does. Like, he's kept every single worker. He's charitable. He delivers to hospitals. He does and he's like, you know what? Like, call your dad. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's figure out what your dad needs. And like, let's see like if this works. And of course, I mean, I don't know if everyone's seen it, but like my dad was I showed him the video and he was a ball of waterworks is what he was.
He's the best, man. Mr. Borrelli's the best.
He fucking wears his emotions on his sleeve and he never takes it off. And the funniest part about that video was I showed it to him and he started choking up and he tried to he goes, let me gather myself real quick and let's restart this. And I'm like, Dad, like 10 seconds in, he was just a mess. Like that video was an attempt at holding in his emotions because the first time didn't go as planned. So, it's been amazing. And we put the shirts on sale. And what's good about the shirts is we sold thousands and thousands of Borrelli's t-shirts. And a lot of that money is going to go to helping other restaurants too. So it's not just Borrelli's, right? Like we cap it off at a certain number, whatever it needs. And then he's going to go on to the next one. Since we've done that first fundraiser, he's already helped a lady who's beaten cancer 3 times in New Hampshire, who needs money. And she said that she got through the cancer 3 times. She got through the first set of, restrictions from COVID. And now this is the hardest fight she's had to battle because now it's snowing, no outdoors. So, I mean, it's absolutely stunning how much money can be raised from Stoolies. And we're a huge family and we like to put our money to things that matter as opposed to like you pay all these taxes to fucking New York State and I can't even get I can't get down the road. The roads aren't even fucking paved or like no one's coming down to shovel us out. It's crazy. So it's like, this is money that's actually going into people that are going to then make the community better. And I couldn't be more proud to work for a place that does this. Dave and Eric are quite literally the biggest supporter of small business in the country right now. Show me one other fucking brand or a company that's doing what they're doing. It's insane.
And they're creating a ton of work for themselves and for other folks, at Barstool, but they're also, realizing that the platform can capture all of these people that exactly what you just said, Frankie, where it's like, there's not a ton of trust in like the government. There's not a ton of trust in like, how come they can't come up with some relief? Like now they're doing like $600. People are like, what are people going to do with $600? And you've got these thousands and thousands of cases of people who have done nothing wrong, who have worked their asses off forever, who have created jobs, who have run small businesses, which like small business literally is America. Like freedom and capitalism and this idea that like you can pretty much just do whatever you want. Like if your thing is Italian food and like making like, penne alla vodkas for like families around town, you can just run your own business, hire who you want to hire. You provide jobs for like a lot of your friends' kids and they come in and it's the go-to spot for the island. Like you can literally do whatever you want in this country. And all of a sudden people are just told that they literally can't and that all of their work just isn't going to cut it and that they're not allowed to operate. And now Erica, Dave are doing this fund. It's been a phenomenal response from Stoolies, from people all over the country, all over the world donating. Millions of dollars are going to end up getting donated. And then they're, like you said, Frankie, like allocating it kind of case by case. Frankie or Borrelli's being sort of the first. And, I can't even imagine the inquiries they're getting because who have nothing to do with it, like I'm getting, texts, emails, I'm sure Trent, I'm sure DMs, long ones from people like, hey, you've come into our place quite a bit. This is our situation. And every one of them has such a good case of like, they grinded. They didn't let people go. They were bringing in their entire family was coming in to try to help run the restaurant. They're moving and setting up outdoor dining every single day because they couldn't leave the stuff outside. Like people just working so hard and not really able to do anything about it because of the pandemic. And here comes the Barstool Fund. So people, I believe it's Barstool Fund at barstoolsports.com. If you do have a small business that's in need, that's looking for some help just to get through this, submit, what it's going to take, what your situation is in order for you to get through January. And then I think, is it barstoolfund.com? Is that the website?
I'm looking at it right now. It looks like it's barstoolsports.com/the Barstool Fund.
barstoolsports.com/the Barstool Fund. That's how you can donate and help out. And then also just going to the store and looking at Borrelli's different merchandise from restaurants, from small businesses, which I think they're going to work on putting more of those up there. But the shirt's awesome. The hoodies are awesome.
Dude, I bought a Borrelli's hoodie, and I like that it's going to a good cause. I like everything that's going on, but I would have bought that hoodie regardless. Like,
it's
that
crazy.
Has such a good logo.
Crazy how long it took for us to put out a Borrelli's hoodie. It's a great logo, and just the whole back where it's like a Long Island family tradition. We all love like local shit like that. Like I would love a hoodie that just says like Bob's fucking Garage from Indianapolis, whatever. You know what I mean? Like I love that shit more than just wearing like the Walmart brand or big box brand. Like give me that local, because it shows like culture. It shows that you care about shit. So people walking around, it actually, one of the things I used to love is Borrelli's has been around for 65 years. So obviously we've been selling shirts for a long time, but you only sold it in the store. And you would be somewhere random and see a Borrelli's t-shirt. Like it was so fucking rare. So I remember we were at like Red Rocks in Colorado seeing like a 311 concert. And someone just right in front of us was just wearing a Borrelli's t-shirt. I'm talking like we were row 27, they were row 26. I'm just like, well, what the fuck's this about? Like this was 7 years ago, whatever it was. And I'm like, hello, like, where'd you get this? Like, I don't know. My dad had it, and like, I'm high right now, so I really don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then another time we were in like we were in Florida, and someone's on the beach taking a photo of their family, and like the whole Borrelli's family was on the beach, just looking like, what's that about? Like, what are you doing? And they're like, I don't know. We used to live in East Meadow. So it's really cool to see now that like that's going to be everywhere. Like, I mean, thousands of Borrelli shirts have sold. So it's just, it's stunning, man. And also the thing that you guys can do, not you, but all the listeners, is go support your local business and your local Italian restaurant, your local Greek place, the people that are just grinding on this food. And Trent just smirked when I said Greek, because I got Trent on a huge Greek kick recently.
He said that.
Oh boy, it's fucking.
I think every time I've seen you in the past 2 months, you're like, did I tell you about this Greek place that's right down the street from me? And you would tell me the story all over again, to the point where on Friday night I had to get Greek food, and you were right. I got what is it? Chicken souvlaki. Souvlaki, and it's just chicken on a kebab. You got the pita bread, and you got tzatziki sauce. I hope I'm saying that right. And you basically just dip it, and you eat it, and you keep dipping. It's phenomenal.
I was texting Trent, what'd you do with that meat? I go, did you dip it in the sauce? He goes, oh, I dipped this. I said, what'd you do with that bread, you naughty little fuck? Did you dip that in the sauce? He goes, oh, I dipped that. Maybe more than anything. We had a good little back and forth going. But the point remains, I go to this place, Avli Little Greek Kitchen. It's in Belmore. Shout out to those guys. Go give them support. But, like, we were on a national scale. So, like, we were on fucking Fox and Friends. My dad was on the news. I heard him at 6 o'clock in the morning. He called me. You want to come on the news? I'm like, who the fuck? What is going on right now? This is insane. But like, people are coming into the restaurant now and they're getting takeout. And, if you usually have a Christmas party and you're like scrambling for your employees, maybe you work at like a big box company, or like you work in an accounting firm and you usually have them, go call your local Italian restaurant, your local Chinese food place, and like get gift cards and give them to your employees, since you can't have those parties. Like there's things that you can do to help small business, not just because that we're shut down. We can't sit down in the restaurants, and we can't sit down at the local, tackle store near the fucking whatever. If you're in Florida, there's a lot of small businesses. Go get gift cards. That helps the most, because when this thing opens up, people will be able to go and you'll be able to give money to those fucking people. And that's just all we need. We need money going in. with your stimulus check, go use it. Don't put it in your fucking bank account and just like gain 1 cent interest on it. When you get that stimulus check, go to your local fucking pizza place and get 25 pizzas and give them out. Like, just do that. It's only $600. You're going to be fine.
Just give your stimulus check to Borrelli's. That's
No.
just
No.
whatever. Just
Go
don't-
spend money, man.
Yeah,
Go spend money. Like,
spend
that's
it
what you
on
need to
local
do. If you
stores.
have
Yeah,
it,
for
spend
sure.
it. Like, that's what we need to do right now. Because it's bad. I mean, it's bad. And, you know, I hope that we can help as many people as we possibly can.
Also,
with
you want
Barstool
these
Fund.
businesses on the back end. Like, you want them to be there, like, when the
Yes.
world opens back up. So if you can right now and you can afford it, go spend money at them now so that ensures that they're there later. Because everybody
So-
wants their local shop.
So it's I just Googled Barstool Fund, or you go to barstoolsports.com. It is the Barstool Fund. That's the URL. And you can donate, and then we're going to allocate these funds to help small business. But they're right. Go spend money, help out if you can. If you have the means, if you have the the money, you can afford it. Go throw a little extra their way. Try to go out as much as you can, because keeping these people, I think we can all see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're all following the updates, the vaccines, they're getting out there. But we're not there yet, man. Like, not there yet. So people got to help out and try to get these businesses, these small local businesses through. Speaking of local business, I have a quick story from, I went to a little breakfast spot here, and I just had it kind of reminds me of some of the weird, like, Seinfeldian interactions that Frankie's had many, many, many times. But I go get breakfast, and I go to, it's one of those spots where they give you the bill and then you go up front and you pay on the way out. And so I do that. They got like the little piece of glass, like, barricade thing between the guy at the stand and myself. So I hand him the receipt, and then I pull out my credit card, and they have, like, the credit card machine, like, is in front of me. So I, like, you insert it yourself. Well, I'm standing there, and after I hand him the receipt, he looks like he kind of does a little something. And then he's just kind of, like, looking at the sky, like it's like or at the ceiling, I guess, like it's like my turn to go. So I'm looking at the credit card machine, like nothing's happening. You know how usually it's like the blue lights come on the swipe area,
Yeah.
or like it prompts you, like, this is the total, would you like to pay it? Like, nothing. It just says, like, welcome to, like, the breakfast spot on the thing. And I'm like, so this probably goes on for like 10 seconds. It's just silent. He's just staring at the ceiling. So I put the credit card in, being like, maybe it just doesn't pop up, and like nothing happens. And now it's like probably another like 5 or 10 seconds where it's just me and this guy, and nothing's happening on the credit card thing. And he's just not doing anything. And so I pull the credit card out, because I'm like, obviously he hasn't done the prompt thing. Like, he's got to do another step.
Right.
So eventually I just kind of make I'm like, oh yeah, it's not, and I try to make it. And he kind of looks, and he goes, he like hits a little button. He clearly hits a button, and then immediately it prompts me. And then he goes, yeah, sometimes this thing takes forever. And I was like, well, no, like, it did. You clearly did something. Like, it'll take forever if you don't, like, do anything. Like,
It will
It needs
literally
an input
take
to
forever.
how, yeah,
You have to do
exactly.
it.
So I was like, looked at him for a second, like, all right, I guess, like, I'll let him get away with, like, that's fine. Like, he just wasn't doing his job. He didn't hit the button. And so then I put the card in, and it works right away. Like, everything literally works. The minute he made a movement, it works right away. And I put it, and it clearly, I prompt, whatever. And then he goes, he doubles down, and he goes, technology's great when it works, huh? And I was just like, well, now, like, now you've
your luck.
double buried. Like, the credit card machine's got to be, like, rattled at this point, because the credit card machine, like, didn't do anything wrong. It's just been, the guy didn't hit the button. So then, like, the second time, I kind of looked at him, and, like, I wasn't sure if I should say something, because it didn't.
But you were going to say something on behalf of technology?
I was going to say something on no, you just weren't doing you weren't doing anything. You just stood there. And I gave him kind of just a look, like a I know look, is kind of, like, I just wanted him to be like, next time I go in there, I want him to know that I knew that it wasn't the credit card. Like, the credit card machine was perfect. Like, the second that he made a move, it just worked, like, flawlessly.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, he just was looking at the ceiling. Like, I don't know what he was looking at. It was infuriating.
That happens to me a lot. I go to this garage by the office, and like You know, or in a taxi, it happens to me all the time, where like I'm fucking doing it, and the guy's like, "No, you can't." Like it'll say like payment didn't work, and I'll take it out, and the guy goes, "Please follow the instructions," as if like I pulled it out too early, and I've given a little bit of a lip back, being like, "No, like I'm the one looking at the screen. I know how to read. Like it told me that it wasn't working, so like I'm like." Savvy enough with technology to know that like it's probably not processing, like let me just restart this, and then it beeps and he's like, oh no, like now you really did it, and I'm like, well, like no, the system's broken and we need to figure this out because I need to get inside this fucking place. So yeah, no,
You
there's
bring
sometimes
up
a disconnect
where taxi cabs need a system where they also see the screen that you're looking at,
yes
because they don't see that, and there are things that can go wrong, and there becomes a disconnect between you and the driver, and now you're pitted against each other, and they're trying to act like you don't want to pay, but you're like, no, I want to pay.
Sometimes it's spinning to give you your total and you're just sitting there and he goes, please insert the card, and I say, if I insert the card right now, it's actually going to break it. I'm telling you. And he goes, please insert the card, sir. And I'm like, okay. And you do it. And it's like, and you're like, you know what, motherfucker? I'm glad there's glass here because I'm going to fucking like you're like, if we just waited a second for this thing to download. I'm like, do you understand how downloading things work? Like, it's just, it happens all the time. And you want to not get mad because these guys are just like driving that car for a living and they don't want to fucking deal with your bullshit in the back seat. They're just like, let me just take the money and go. But it is funny sometimes.
And I think that's why Uber's there too, is because that experience is the worst experience in the world.
Yes,
it is. And it's like,
no, you don't understand. And I don't even know if I have like the knowledge to explain what's happening because this screen is here, but I can't really explain. It's just, I know that it's not going to work and you've got nothing to offer me except input your card again, because that is just poor logic. What that does is it doesn't work for my experience.
Flip side of that though, and this is a bit of an art form from taxi cab drivers, the ones who will allow you to pay as you're still cruising down the street. It's like they're like, I'm going to be dropped off up here. And they're like, oh, it'll be right up here on the right. And they start the process. So as you're paying, you're pulling up to the spot.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pros pro.
But that's what they're looking for there is a bigger tip, because that's like a bartender buying you your last beer, because it goes up like 40 cents every like 2 blocks. I'm totally fine with it too, but that's exactly what they're doing. They're I'll stop you a couple blocks early.
Well, that you're just describing good service. Like
that's good service.
You're just describing good service.
But that's a pros pro. I'm just saying that's what they're doing. That's the only reason they're doing that.
The smartest thing cab companies ever did, and I don't know how long they've been doing this, but when it prompts you to pay and it gives you the choices for tip amount and it starts at 20%, 20, 25, 30%, like I always go with 20 or 25% depending on the service. I feel like if that prompt wasn't there, people would be going 15 hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
sometimes that infuriates me, though, when they start at 20. Like, I at least like to see an 18 just so I can – like if this guy's like one time left the US Open last year, a couple years ago, and the cabbie, I mean, he farted the whole way home. And like, he wouldn't even like pretend that it was happening. It stunk in there. If I could have not given this guy a tip, I would have. It was an absolute nightmare. It starts at 20. It's just disgusting. But
what do you guys think about those situations where like, I'm trying to think of it. Maybe you're at like the airport, right? And you're rushing and you just get a water. And you do all the work yourself. You grab it. You fucking walk up to the cashier, and like and the guy or the girl just spins that tablet around, and it says like, "Would you like to leave a tip?" And you're just like, I mean, like, or sometimes you just gotta say no, or you just like skip it, like, and you have to actually do it in front of them. That should be illegal. Because like there are some times where you're just like, you don't deserve this tip right now, even though I'm going to give it to you. Like, this is crazy. You're sitting there on your phone. And I just ran around and waited online. You just fucking turned that tablet. Now, I get it. Like, it's the service industry. Let's tip every single person 20%. It is what it is. Like, but fuck, man. There's sometimes – I'm trying to think of times where it's just, like, not really the service industry. Where, like, it's happened to me multiple times where they actually give you the receipt and they're like, and there's a gratuity line. And you have to go over it and just sign.
Well, what you're explaining in the airport is, like, spot on. You go around like you're, like, Hudson News. You go grab your drink. You swipe it. It already costs like $5.50 for a small bottle of water. You're already like, this is enough money for a bottle of water. And then they flip it on you and then they're like, tip. And you're like, well, no, I don't know what your part in this is that you deserve your tip. Like, you're just you're an exchanger. Like, I don't need you.
But like to hit no right in their face is
hard.
crazy.
I know it's hard.
Crazy. It's like I can't. What is it? $1? Like this is crazy.
It's hard.
Trent, remember we were on the cousins retreat and they asked me, dude, we were filming everything. We were doing like a YouTube vlog type style. And it was literally at the airport thing. And we got like $4 worth of fucking gummy bears and a bottle of water or something. And they were like, would you like to leave $1 for like children's, research at like St. Jude? And I was like, no.
No, it was different. It was different. And I think it's already on video and it's already out there. So I'm not putting you out here, but it was for the troops. And you said no. And you looked into the camera and said, sorry, Captain Cons, and just walked away.
Well, also
you're right.
This is what's great about, the Barstool Fund is like you're watching, like my dad received a message from Dave and he cried and he fucking got it, right? Like sometimes when I'm at the Hudson news station and I just got myself way too much sugar and I'm about to get on a plane and watch just a shitty movie, like I don't know that my $2 are going to like Afghanistan to fight for like our freedoms. Like I just don't know that that's happening. I really don't know if it's going overseas. Like I don't trust that. Maybe I should. I feel much better like my 1 or 2 times a year where I see something on the internet or a GoFundMe or like a Captain Cons put something up for like Headstrong or something. And I know it's legitimately going to a fund because you see someone get a dog or like, you know what I mean? Like you're actually seeing it happen. Those are so much better than like this lady or guy who doesn't even know what they're asking me. They have no clue if that's going anywhere. It's just going into their system and probably never going anywhere ever again. Like who knows?
No,
maybe they have I bet you they have like an assigned amount of money that Hudson News just donates to the fucking fund, and like whatever we give, like it doesn't matter. They already give $1 million, whatever it is.
No, that is what's great about the Barstool Fund, and Dave's always been great about that. Anytime Barstool has done charitable acts, he always shows the whole process all the way through, all the warts, like even now with the Barstool Fund where it's like, this thing is huge and we're kind of scrambling for bodies to put this whole thing together, but he'll tell you all about that. You see where it comes from, the $500,000 from Dave, all the stoolies donating, all the shirts, and you'll see it all the way through until it goes to a place like Borrelli's or these other restaurants that he's picking, and it makes you feel good about donating to a fund like that.
Yeah, I don't need to see Joel Osteen and his mega church, and he's riding out of the fucking church with 2 Lamborghinis and his son's behind him in an electric Escalade. Like I don't need that type of charity. I need something that's like mom and pop. Like, I mean, Dave runs Barstool like a small business, and I've always said that he is a small business. I mean, we're a massive company now; they're worth $500 million, but it's still a very small business because like Foreplay is a small business. We have work to do, and like we go out and do it, and we like it's our product. We mask it, we change it, we fabricate it, whatever we got to do to get the logos right, all this stuff. Like we do it. Like, and Dave does that with Barstool as a whole brand. He creates little mini small businesses within it, and he's never gonna he doesn't bail you out. Like he just like goes, go do it. He said it today in the year-end meeting. Like just go fucking do it. Don't ask for help. Don't ask for whatever. At the end of the day, if you do well, we're gonna help you like you wouldn't believe. But just go fucking do it. That's small business. So I'd much rather give my money and stuff like that to people that know that they actually understand it. They're built from it. It's in their blood. It's in Dave's blood, and Erica too.
I think that's always the case. I mean, like your point of like earlier of like my roads aren't paved. Yeah, like that is always like frustrating, but you trust your like government officials to put the money where it needs to be. But it's so much more fun when you actually know where that money's going and you feel empowered by that. Like this movement that Barstool started is just like, it's great because as soon as I saw that video, I think I tweeted like, I don't love Frankie all the time, but I love his father or something like that. And I instantly texted Frankie. I was like, I just want to reach out. Like, I'd love to give $1.
Which is crazy. Lurch does this to me. Backs me in a corner. He's the nicest guy in the fucking world. I tried to deny his money. And Lurch, and to his credit, he's fucking persistent, man. He goes, I don't have much, but I'm going to send. And he sends like a decent fucking amount of money. And it makes me hot. And it makes me want to throw up because Lurch is such a good guy at heart. And like everyone always reaches out and stuff. But like, and it's hard to imagine that like we have these differences and I fucking hate him. I think he's grotesque and ugly and the whole thing. But then he's like helping out. I said like, Lurch, dude, like that money, like my dad is like quite literally going to bring that food to someone that does not have food for Christmas. Like that's literally going, like he took the money and he put it into food. Like he went to Restaurant Depot and got, like, you know what I mean? Like he actually did it. So that you know it's going somewhere, and it's actually a product of like that money going somewhere. So yeah, thank you to Lurch. I mean, everyone's buying shirts.
Question, Frankie, actually, now that we go back on that, because I didn't really think about that exchange until now. Did you, the money that you owed me, did you also kick that in?
Yes.
Good man.
Well, I bought a bunch of sweatshirts, so technically it's
good. That's all worth it.
So I bought a bunch of sweatshirts. It all went to the Barstool Fund. I bought like whatever. I bought a bunch of sweatshirts.
Good,
for
man.
it.
Well, anyway, we can support. It's a great cause, and it's your dad.
And keep your eye open too.
He's awesome that way.
Keep your eye open for the other places too, because I know that we're gonna try and help. What time is it? It's 5:10. So there's a pizza review coming out at 6:00. It's one of my favorite dudes we've ever done, and he's this place in Astoria. He's straight off the boat from Italy, like back in the day. He's lived in Astoria his whole life. He had 50 employees, just like my dad. He had to go down to 4 employees. He's sitting on the side of the road drinking wine with Dave and everyone in the town. Rocco, hey, Montepulciano, and he's like going crazy. Everything, he's pouring wine for people. They all know him. They're kissing his hand. Hey, how's the kids? His like kid comes up, kisses her, and like that's a guy who needs help because he runs his business so fucking well. He's got a beautiful restaurant, lights everywhere. Astoria is huge, fits 200 people. And now he's like an unsuccessful. He doesn't know how to run a business, he says. He's like, I don't know how to do it. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't get people inside. Like, I have to try and like figure out how to get people outside. It's fucking 2 degrees outside. What do I do? Like, Dave, you tell me. I've been working for 40 years and now I don't know how to answer my like wife when she asks me, like, what are we doing? Like, I feel like an asshole.
What's the name of the pizza joint? It'll be 6 tomorrow. So
Trattoria Insalata. Trattoria Insalata or Insalato. It'll be on barstoolsports.com. It'll be a massively viral review because it's a 32-minute review and everyone loves watching those long ones. Dave gets absolutely shit-faced in the review. So it starts out Dave's dead ass sober and he walks out stumbling out of the place. Like Dave drank 2 bottles of wine within 30 minutes. So it's a very good review. We're going long-winded. I appreciate everyone. Thank you very much. And it's not just for us. It's for the fucking country, really, what it is. We're going to spread it apart. You know, every city, every state, hopefully. So, yeah, that's great stuff. It's crazy.
Google Barstool Fund, or you just type in the URL, barstoolsports.com/the-barstool-fund. That's what I found. And then if you are a small business, email, I believe it's barstoolfund@barstoolsports.com. Outline the situation. Hopefully we can help. Okay. Golf. Quickly to golf. Probably the most wholesome and just genuinely fun watch of golf I've ever had. And I say that, you know, like you're going to compare watching Tiger win a major, but those are stressful. Those are like intense. Those are like watching your favorite team try to win a Stanley Cup or try to win a World Series. Like this wasn't, and it was just fun. Like you actually, if the ball went into the hole or didn't, it didn't really matter because you were watching for the interactions. We're talking about Charlie and Tiger Woods. Now, Tiger's the biggest draw, obviously, in the history of golf, arguably in the history of sports, or at least up there in the history of sports. And now you've got the guy who is so protective of his privacy and his family that he named his yacht Privacy. He clearly has gone through a ton with the media over the last 30 years. He's been up, he's been down, he's been the greatest of all time. He's been laughed at. He's liked the media. He's despised the media. He's got 2 young children. Charlie's 11 years old. And after he won the Masters, it became very clear that Charlie and his family were there. It became very clear, and they've talked about it since, that like Charlie really got into golf after Tiger won the Masters last year. And then they kind of shocked everybody. I mean, we had those videos pop up earlier this year of like Charlie's swing, and we all were kind of like, oh shit, looks like Charlie could swing. Like, okay. And then his results started to pour in. He started to win a couple little events. And then out of the clouds, they announced that they're going to play in the father-son. So, you know, everybody who's like, Tiger's so protective, and I can't believe, are we allowed to even be talking about Charlie's swing? Well, now he's going to be on fucking TV in front of the entire world, playing alongside Tiger Woods, and not just playing alongside him, but dressed exactly like him, to the point where he wears an outfit that if someone else wears it on Sunday, we essentially demand that they're kicked off the PGA Tour and that their card is like burned in front of their face. And here he comes wearing the exact same outfits. He's got the same mannerisms. He's got a lot of the same qualities and parts of his game. He's fist bumping. He's fucking twirling on the range. He's twirling out there. and it was awesome start to finish.
Yeah, I think it definitely exceeded expectations, and we already had super high expectations going into it. And I think it did start when they were on the range, and their mannerisms were the exact same. The swing is very similar, but the step back and watch the ball go, that's the one where they do that and all synced up. It was just crazy. And the other thing was Charlie played well. Like, he played really well. He looked like he was having a good time. Tiger looked like he was having a good time. And that's really what it's all about. And I know we had talked about it a couple weeks leading up to where people are like, oh, he's only 11 years old. Don't put all these expectations on him. Those people are dead quiet right now because the weekend went so well where clearly Charlie had a good time, and that's all anybody really cares about. And, yeah, he can go do whatever he wants. He's 11 years old. A couple of years from now, he can be doing whatever he wants. If he wants to turn pro in golf someday, God bless him, but he can do whatever he wants. But for this weekend, him and Tiger playing together, they had such a good time that I can't see how it could have gone any better.
Yeah, and like to that point, Trent, I don't understand these people that say, like, if we tweet like, holy shit, that fist pump was amazing, I love Charlie. How does that equate to Charlie better win 20 Masters or I'll fucking kill? Like, what are they – what do you mean, like, okay, like, I'm just commenting the fact that this little miniature Tiger Woods, which is literally by DNA and scientific definition, that's what he is. Like, this little miniature Tiger Woods is doing really cool shit that's kind of similar to what Tiger Woods does, so much so that they're dressed the exact fucking same, playing the same game in the same tournament with the same name on the leaderboard. Like, they're just doing it all together. This is so cool. Like, we're so worried about, Tiger Woods being over. He's 45. Is it like going to come to an end? And now there's like a little bit of like, oh, there's a young, like he's literally Tiger's son. He clearly loves the game. He loves to do what his father has done to the point where he mimics his reactions, his celebrations, his excitement. Nobody is out there saying that like, okay, I now have this expectation bar, and if Charlie doesn't meet it, I'm going to be pissed. No one's saying that. We're simply just responding to what was put on television, which, by the way, is entertainment. We're responding to entertainment. We're responding to the fact that, like, Tiger and Charlie clearly agreed that he was ready, and he obviously was ready because he handled it phenomenally. He played great. They're using his drives all over the place. He had a ton of swagger. He was doing the fucking move where he would just roast one right down the middle, turn around, and just give dad the thumbs up. Like, it was just so wholesome and fun. And if tomorrow it's announced that, like, Charlie Woods actually has quit golf and he wants to pursue soccer, because that's fine. Who cares? Like, that's great. We had a great weekend. It was really, really cool. Like, nobody's going to sit here and now require that we put this kid through the ringer for the rest of his life. Like, who gives a fuck? Nobody cares about that. Nobody's saying that. What we're talking about is what was clearly put in front of us, which was awesome to witness. We all enjoyed it. Tiger enjoyed it. Charlie enjoyed it. Justin Thomas enjoyed it. It was just wholesome fun, and people love to get mad, be outraged about every little thing in the world. It was just good, wholesome fun, and it was great to watch.
I would be lying if I said that if I heard Charlie Woods retired from golf tomorrow, I'd be a little bit sad. Just I got to be honest there and say that. But I that's not the point at all. The point was that I was just like in the kitchen, like grabbing a water, and my mom, who was watching it, would shout from the other room, "Charlie's about to hit! Charlie's about," just really about like nothing other than she's excited to see him hit like another T-ball. And then at one point I was like, I wonder how far he's hitting it. Like, is he hitting it as far as I am? And then he almost drove a 245-yard green where I was like, well, at this point, he's just like about the same distance as I. Like, if he's going to hit that, like, he can hit it 260. Like, he can just like work the ball. Like if he gets a sweet spot, like, this kid's amazing. And from a general entertainment side, like, it was just flat out impressive, not only seeing Charlie, but the other kids and the other fathers and everyone. And like, my brother would come in and be like, that guy's still playing? And it would be Lee Trevino. And you're like, yeah, like, this is what it's about. It's about father-son. It's about seeing all these guys like complete and play. And like, it's a family time of year. So I thought it was just exceptional in so many different facets. And obviously Charlie stuck out because, yes, he's the son of Tiger and everybody wants to see that. And it was just flat out cool how happy Tiger was to see the greatest player of all time not even hit a tee shot because his son roped one down like a draw down the left hand. So like all that stuff was so fun looking back. Like it was entertainment, as you said. It was fantastic.
He's the best player in the world. I mean, we're tiptoeing around it. He was so much better than we all anticipated. He didn't miss a shot. His drives were perfect. He recoils like Tiger Woods. There was a recoil off a tee where he hit a draw around the bend over a bunker and recoiled it back. The kid's 11 years old. The fact that he knows how to recoil, the fact that he knows when to walk putts in, the fact that he knows to like hit it. I mean, him and Tiger were having closest to the pin contest on fairways, and he was just beating Tiger on the regular. I mean, on the regular. And he was just drilling putts. He wanted to make the eagle putts. Even when he missed a putt, he missed it on like the pro side and like would give it that like hand, like, oh, like, did you misread that, Dad? He's a cocky guy. Yeah. I mean, he's the cockiest 11-year-old in the world. Like, I don't know if that's because – so, like, I was actually debating this with my friends. Like, is it more difficult to grow up – yeah, I'll ask this question to you guys. Is it more difficult to grow up as Tiger Woods or Charlie Woods when it comes to the game of golf and expectations? My friends say Tiger Woods because, like, he had all this pressure on him at 2 years old and, like, had to be good. And, like, if he doesn't, like, none of that, like, even exists. But because that exists, like, Charlie Woods now, like, has that, like, to fall back on, like, what you're saying. Like, if he wants to play soccer, he can play soccer. It doesn't matter. Like, Tiger had to do what he had to do. My point is that because Tiger was that fucking good and now Charlie plays golf, the expectation and pressure on him is 10 times what Tiger's is, I thought.
I'm going to say Tiger Woods was more difficult.
Really?
Yeah.
God,
yeah, because I think his dad was significantly – I mean, we all read the book. Like, his dad, there was no option. It was like he's going to be – he literally at this, like, he was going around telling people that Tiger Woods is going to be more influential for society than, like, Gandhi. Like, he was literally telling people that. So, like, Charlie Woods is like, he grew up a billionaire and he gets to putz around in his backyard with 4 different greens that have all different grass in the world. And Tiger, apparently, from what he says, it's like, yeah, he can do whatever he wants. He really got motivated after I won the Masters and he loves golf, but like, he can kind of do whatever he wants. So, yeah, I mean, the expectations are high, but like, I think a lot of us already are in the place of like, dude, we already got Tiger and everything else is gravy. Whereas like when Tiger was coming along, it was like, okay, what's this fucking thing going to be all about? Like, we better get something here. And then he had to deliver, and he did. Whereas, like, I think Charlie's – like, you're getting so many more people that are already defending the expectation game against Charlie. Nobody was defending that against Tiger. Everyone was like, all right, motherfucker, what are you going to do here?
Yeah, but the Tiger scale is so micro. Like, when he was a kid growing up, where Charlie, like, the only, parts of California and who – Earl was telling people about, knew about Tiger and like, like on the news. And
he was on TV, national TV when he was 2.
I know, but still he's not on the macro scale of like expectations of Charlie Woods. Like, I would say, like, when you see with like Gretzky's kids, I know it's tough. But like, I'm on the side that it's harder to match expectations to be Charlie Woods than it is for Tiger. Like, in a totally different example, you almost see it with the Balls kids, whoever Lonzo Ball is, like, promoting their kids or whatever, like, and going nuts about that. I think it's easier for them to try to grow up and succeed than it would be for Charlie to capture the game of the golf the way Tiger did.
We just know like what his potential is, and even though that's not fair, like we know that he comes from the family and the birth, the pedigree of a man that's won more than anyone else in golf and tournaments, and then he has all these majors. He's the best golfer of all time. We know that he could achieve that, and to achieve that is nearly impossible. When Tiger was upcoming, he could have won 10, 15 tournaments, and he's just regular Eldrick. Like, that was his.
I think it's Charlie. That my opinion is that it's Charlie, because as tough as it was for Tiger, and Earl was obviously very involved and was heavy on the pressure, he's still blazing his own trail and making his own history. Charlie was born, and the second he touched a golf club, people were like, you know that your dad did that, right? And he was really, really good at it. And that it really just boils down to what pressure you think is more intense. The pressure of a guy like Earl Woods, where the pressure is obviously incredibly intense, or society and expectation pressure, where as soon as you are the son of someone who's great, if you're Michael Jordan's son, if you're LeBron's son, if you're any of those guys, you are now growing up in an atmosphere where if you even attempt to do the thing that your father did, there's already a benchmark for if you don't reach this, it's a letdown.
Dude, if Charlie Woods makes it to tour, which he will, he's going to be the greatest golfer of all time, but if Charlie Woods makes it to tour, His first time he gets up to the tee box at Augusta National, he's going to be 19, 20 years old. He's going to be coming from Stanford, which, by the way, he's going to Stanford. Like, imagine him just going to, like, Florida State or something, like, close to, like, Jupiter. Like, if Stanford doesn't already send Tiger a picture of that locker, and also don't go to Oklahoma State. It's crazy that we're talking about Charlie going to college.
Hold on.
We're not. We're not.
Me, Riggs, and Lurch were like the measured approach where
no, I don't give a fuck.
He can play chess in 3 years. He can do whatever he wants. Frankie's like, he's going to Stanford. He's going to tour.
Yes.
We need that voice.
That's the stuff hey, I want that to happen. That's my opinion. I'm not touching an orb over here. Like, I genuinely want Charlie Woods to be successful. Sorry, I want him to make millions of dollars and be a successful fucking athlete. Like, I'm the only one who wants the guy to fucking make some money around here. Like, you guys want him to play chess club. I want the guy. I'm brokering deals. I'm calling Nike. Like, this is crazy. Like, I want the guy to be successful. Listen, when he stepped up to the first tee at Augusta National, they're going to put up a graphic of what Tiger did that year when he was that age and what Charlie's going to do that year. And let's say Charlie Woods makes the PGA Tour and goes 10 years without winning a tournament. Which is impossible, right? Like, we talk about this with Pat Perez. It's impossible to win golf tournaments. You have to be the best of the best. And, like, if Charlie just, like, plays on tour and, like, does all right, he's, like, almost all those comparisons, it's, like, almost a failure. You know, like, not a failure, but, like, he's always going to be compared to, like, oh, at this age, your dad was, like, he won 32 tournaments and you have, like, 3. Like, that's brutal. Like, what's happening? So I feel bad for that aspect, but he's going up against an unachievable number, I think. Like, it's just crazy town, the numbers that he has to go up against.
Tiger's comment of he's starting to ask the right questions.
I love that.
Like me thinking about the galaxy. Honestly, when I think about that, I couldn't even dream what those are. Just like I can't think of when we talk, Michelle, like about where the galaxy like starts and stops. Like, what are those things? The fact that Tiger's alluding to him, like starting to ask the right questions, get into the game of the golf, and then like he props us up for this weekend that we just saw. Like this little 11-year-old just rip the ball around the golf course was magical.
Charlie played too well this weekend.
He played.
I agree with that.
He played too well.
I would say
he topped one.
Don't show me a fucking fist pump if you don't want me calling Stanford saying this kid's coming in 5 years, 5 or 6 years. Don't give me a fist pump. And it was shot for shot of what his dad did. I'm sorry, man. Like, he played too well. When I was watching with a couple buddies at my friend's house, we were going fucking crazy for his tee shots. Like, come on, Charlie. And he would rip one. That one that he turned around and gave a thumbs up to his dad, it was like the Islanders won the Stanley Cup. I was like, he's the cockiest 11-year-old in the world. I was putting my hands on my head tearing. I'm like, this kid it's crazy. Like, and don't give me that chance to do that. You've now awakened a beast inside me that I know that this kid exists, that he's just going to be the best golfer ever.
Well, you say he played too well, but that actually works in his favor. If he wants this as his future, he had to gain so much confidence from this weekend. Being like, I can do it. I can do it with crowds. I can do it with cameras. I can do it with my dad standing literally right behind me. Like, that's got to be a big confidence booster for him.
And also 11 and 12-year-olds, like, they're super young and they like whatever, but like isn't there that Netflix or Golf Channel show of like that tour of 12-year-olds where like they're just fucking incredible golfers? What's that called? That show?
Lurch, didn't you watch it?
Didn't you watch it?
Is that the short game? Is that what it is?
Is it the short game?
It's on Netflix, I think.
Did we lose Lurch?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
I thought somebody in our crew watched it.
Yeah, somebody watched it, but it's just like a documentary on these like tours. I think maybe we were talking about with 12-year-old Pete's dad or something.
I watched a show on a plane.
These kids are fucking good is my point. They go around the country and they shoot fucking under par. It's like, don't cry me a river about expectations when this kid's stepping up, hitting a 275 down the middle and hitting it to 3 feet and knocking in an eagle. Like, that's like, well, I mean, he was 210 out and ripped a 5-wood around a fucking bunker. And
he was 175 out.
175, whatever.
But he did rip a drive 245 that like blew.
Well, the pin was 245 and he was short. So yeah, he probably hit it 225, 230. Like we're saying 275. Like
he took more divots in those rounds than Frankie and I have combined hitting our life.
Yeah.
Like, they were perfect.
Correct. He's really good at golf. He's better than I thought. And there's one thing of like seeing a kid, an 11-year-old, like seeing his swing earlier this year, that's one thing. Like, you can look good on the range. he just went out in a tournament, and yeah, it was a scramble, fine, but like they were taking his ball all day long. Tiger was literally doing what I do in the 4-man scramble, which is like, you guys hit it out there. I can't hit it that far. Fine. Right, we're just going to walk up to the fairway now, because he was that good. He wasn't missing. So yeah, like his game is fucking sharp. His game is very good right now. I thought around the greens was incredibly impressive. Like he was chipping it closer than Tiger a lot, which like those, you take all distance and all, like, sure, there's an element of like, okay, if he's driving the ball 220, 230 yards, like it's a little easier to like hit it straight when you're not hitting it 330 yards. So like, fine. His short game is just awesome. Like his touch was great. His putts looked good. When they did miss, they like barely missed. And he legit out-chipped like Tiger a bunch where he hit it in there close. So his game was sharp. He also clearly had an element of like stepping up and playing as well or better than he ever has under the most intense pressure he's ever felt. Like Tiger was saying, like, that's his first eagle. The third hole, he just eagled it on his own ball. And Tiger's like, that's his first eagle. Like, he's never made eagle before. 3 holes into his fucking TV debut playing in a Champions Tour event, and he makes eagle. Like, he just steps up to the plate. So having those qualities is awesome. You guys are absolutely right in that, like, if he goes on tour and wins 20 tournaments and like 3 majors, which is a fucking all-time career, Hall of Fame landslide career, it'll be a disappointment. Like, one, because like you can't show up to a tournament, be Woods, have the red and black, have Tiger's your literally the greatest player of all time, is your dad and probably your coach and like your caddy and everything else, and then just like not perform up to the level that Tiger Woods did. Otherwise, it's like, what are we doing here? Like this guy, you know, like if he finishes like, you know, 27th on if he has like a Kevin Kisner type career, which by the way, Kevin Kisner's career is phenomenal. The guy's going to make like $30-40 million. He's won the like, if he goes and has a Kevin Kisner career, everyone will be like, oh, what happened? Like,
I mean, unless like Tiger's,
that's the media though. That's an issue with the media.
Right.
Because like,
unless Tiger's like stats become like Gretzky, where we've now gotten to the point where we don't even care. I mean, people care about Gretzky's stats, but like Connor McDavid is the best player in the league, and he won't even come close to Wayne Gretzky's numbers. And we all think McDavid is the best golfer, hockey player like of our generation, and like an Austin Matthews and Mitch. You know what I mean? Like, if he gets what were we gonna say?
Sorry, but the last name is the difference.
No, I know that, but like if it becomes a point where like he's the best of his generation and like 24 wins in 10 years and 5 majors is like number 1 of his 10 years or something, like there's nothing you can do about that. Like if golf becomes like, if the parity in golf becomes so incredibly difficult that it becomes impossible to win 5 majors out of the last 10, like we can't hold that against him. Like if he's number 1 after his 10 years of playing, regardless of what that number is, it's fine. I'm just saying that Tiger's numbers are so ridiculous. Well, and I don't want Charlie Wood step up to the first team being like, I can't. Like, you're already a loser. I mean, you can't win 82 tournaments. You can't.
Well, I think that's like the media side is just like whatever Charlie does in his career, I will be a fanboy of, because of basically like what his dad did and how much like joy that family has brought me in a weird way. You know, like I've just been a fan of them because it is unfair. He could win all 4 majors over a 15-year career, be a no doubt Hall of Famer, and be a disappointment in like media's eyes, which is a shame and the wrong way. It's like, that's a joy.
I think there's a middle ground there. I think if he had the career that you just described, I think people would be like, that's fucking good.
See, the word disappointment, I think, is like hard. It's a hard word. Like, I think we can, like, I don't know, disappointment. Like, and I said failure before, which definitely isn't the right word. Like, it's it's almost like we have unrealistic expectations of like what it should be. Like, we want another Woods. We want a Woods to come up with 100 wins.
So I will say, like, if Charlie went out and did have the type of career, if he wins even like a major and then he wins fucking a few PGA Tour events, like I think everyone would actually be like, dude, that's really impressive. Like you came out, you had all of these expectations, you had to bear kind of the cross of like having the name and having every single time you tee off in front, right? Like we always laugh about the phrase of like, nobody cares what you shoot. Well, guess what, Charlie? Everybody cares what you shoot every time you play golf ever, because you've been, you're a Woods. You have the blood. You're part of the bloodline. And so I do think you're right. I think there's a little bit of a middle ground that people will find. And like, think about how fucking hard it is to get on the PGA Tour. We talk about Monday qualifiers. Guys going out and shooting like 64, 65 don't qualify for an event on Monday because everyone is so good at that level. And these are the guys that aren't even on the PGA Tour. And now we're talking about, like, if you were able to make it to the PGA Tour, you're one of the top 125, 150 players of the sport of golf on planet Earth, which has however many billions of people. There are however many tens of millions play golf, and you're a top 100 to 200 of them in the world. Like, that's amazing. And so if he could get to that level, it'd be incredibly impressive. It's just like, he probably too, on a personal, and he's 11 now, so he probably doesn't give a fuck, but like on some day, if he does pursue the sport and he gets to the point where he's at Stanford and he's now trying to make it on the PGA Tour, and he does make it on the PGA Tour, like, he's always in his head probably going to compare himself to like, okay, like, I need to win this amount, I want to do that. And that makes it even harder because you've got like Tiger there. You're right. There's an element of like Tiger was blazing his own trail, and yeah, he had the Nicklaus thing like above his bed and every, but like he was able to kind of go out, and every mark that he set was the mark that like he set. And yeah, again, like if you go back, they did talk about how like actually he's a couple years ahead of Nicklaus at this pace, but really it was such a different kind of era. It was enough years later that like he was doing his own thing, where it is going to be benchmarked against Tiger Woods, his dad, all the time, which is going to make it difficult. But like he's got like currently, again, he's fucking 11, so I understand. But like he's got it. Like he's fucking adorable. He's got a great look to him. He has the swagger. He fucking plays the game at an incredibly high level already. He clearly can handle the pressure. So like he seems to like as much as you could have it at this age and like have it at being 11, he seems to have it.
Right. And Tiger drops these tidbits that just get me so excited, but I'm trying to temper like my expectations, if you will, and what that is for him. But like, I just want to watch fun, good golf. But Tiger says these lines of like, oh, he's asking the right questions, or I was excited to see that he took his game from the range to the course. And you're just like, God, these things are like, that's just a lot for my mind to take of what I should perceive this kid. Like, I don't even know how talented he is in the like 11 age group. Like, is he like top 1,000 in the world? Like, I have no idea.
There were the other kids were older, but like Kuchar's son is a fucking
phenomenal.
Stick.
So is Daly. So is all these kids. Like,
all those
phenomenal.
kids they're phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, Kuchar's son may have been the best player on the golf course.
He had some swagger too. He was walking in putts. He
cocky
was like,
motherfucker too.
He looks exactly like Kuch too.
It's like your dad wears Skechers for a living, but he's also fucking good. Whatever. Kuchar's son got on my nerves a little bit. I want that to be a rivalry, like Charlie Woods versus Kuchar's son, because he had a look to him that was like, go wash my ball or something. Like I didn't like whatever. How old is that kid? 13, 14? I'm not gonna start fucking rivalries with these
temper
kids.
our talk.
Yeah. I mean, hey, don't put him on TV then. I mean, like it's crazy. There's odds. I mean, whatever. It's I don't know. It's crazy. It was on fucking national television.
It's true. Like the Little League World Series is on. People break down those games all the time.
Go crazy for that shit.
They go crazy for it. There's a fucking cult around it. It's like literally the only thing that's on TV for a month straight in the summer.
What is it? Todd Frazier went to Tom's Rivers or whatever it is. They always see that one stat. Frazier, Tom's Rivers, New Jersey, or something like that. I mean, it's always they write it on every single time he gets up. He was on the 2020 whatever.
Played Rutgers, the whole thing.
In the moment when I really would let my mind wander about the potential future of Charlie Woods was the moments between him and JT, because they're very buddy. It was very awesome watching them interact all weekend. But then you flash forward 10, 15 years and they're battling it out for this major or that major, and they're if that happens again, was me letting my mind wander. They're going to play those PNC clips of JT and Charlie mucking it up, and then it's like, oh, here we are in 2035 and they're battling down the stretch.
Just like when, that happened with Jeter. And I think it may have been, was it Todd Frazier and Jeter or someone else in Jeter, where they were at Yankee Stadium and Jeter's standing next to a Little League World Series player at shortstop during the national anthem. And then he was playing against him in the World Series. They were like, wow, 17 years ago, he was on the same field. It's like they love that shit. I love that shit. That shit's awesome.
It is awesome. It's very cool. We've got like potentially a really cool future, but he is 11. So it's like it's going to be a ways. He's not entering Stanford next year, which sucks.
No, but like the draw hole, for example, like if JT pushes one on the 13th of Augusta in April, like they're just gonna slap draw hole over the screen and replay that highlight. Like that's just gonna be a thing.
So Kevin Clancy texted me saying there's no way that like Charlie Woods wrote that, right? Like if you look at the handwriting, like come on. There's no way an 11-year-old wrote that. And I said, well, Charlie Woods has the best handwriting in the world.
But I mean, okay, but like Tiger could have just written it and handed it to him, but like, go put this by JT's ball, you know, like that's still.
Yeah. I was thinking, or like his little book that for each hole, maybe like, I mean, you'd think they talked about the hole or like maybe the night before or during the driving range, and on his book it says draw hole or something, and like he ripped it off that book. Who clearly like LaCava or someone else like drew or wrote, and he put it there.
That's what JT said after. JT said that it was from a practice round, like they had done the practice round. And it was somebody hit it in the right. I think it was, I think like literally Charlie or Tiger's like pushed one a little out to the right. And I believe it was JT's dad, Mike, who said it's a draw hole. And they like wrote it down in like their notes. And then I think that ball was actually JT's dad's ball that Charlie put the note by. And JT just picked it up and it said draw hole, which was like a little throwback chirp. So that's a little bit more believable. But I mean, also when you're 11, like, you know, like your parents will write like notes to your teacher for you and shit that you give. And it's like, oh, he didn't write this. Like, well, no shit. He's 11. Like, okay. So, I mean, there's an element of that. But that stuff, it was great. Like JT picking him up after the round and being like, do you have fun, dude? And stuff like that is cool. That will get replayed again if Charlie ever ends up on that level. But like, I mean, JT will be, you know, 8-9 years younger than Tiger is now when Charlie gets to the age that Tiger first won the Masters. So like, if he does end up on a trajectory that a lot of us are really trying to say we're not giving the expectations to, but clearly are, if he ends up on that trajectory, like they will absolutely cross paths for like a decade or more out there, you know, trying to win tournaments. And with that whole background, it could be very, very interesting.
I was also thinking when Frankie was saying when they do like the introductions to like the first tee, they're like, you know, Tiger Woods, you won 38,000 times. And then Phil Mickelson gives the like, all right. Like I could just see like Charlie Woods, son of Tiger, you know, like as his championship trophy that in terms of the presentation of the tour. Be pretty
I don't know that they're going to say that. That would be.
Oh, well, I'm just, you know, it's okay to laugh.
Well,
I like it. Because up to that point, if it's his first tee, like that could be his biggest achievement.
That's his biggest achievement, and that was the joke that didn't land.
I just wasn't sure if you were serious. Was it a joke, or you think they'll actually say that?
I don't think they'll actually say that, but it's just more of a joke. But you know,
okay.
Well, is there a roof I could jump off of, or no?
Yeah,
I'm on the second floor. I'm on the second floor. You think I'll do any damage, or am I still have to go to the hospital?
Maybe on your frail body, it could.
I have a deck outside, so that may stop my fall.
Oh, that's a nice.
It wasn't clear to me if it was a joke or not. I'm sorry. It just wasn't that clear. I don't know. I apologize. I apologize. We can keep talking about it if you want us to.
No.
Should I restate it?
No, please no.
Let's see how long we can keep this moment going.
Oh boy!
What a great time.
Is the video podcast of this going out?
Riggs, let's see what everybody's heart rate is right now with their Whoop.
Trent, that's a great idea. We should look at the Whoop and we should check out the situation. We were talking before the show about our heart rate and our respiratory rate, how everybody's checking it pretty much nonstop, especially with the holidays coming up, because you don't want to have signs of COVID-19 and how good Whoop has been with that. We've been on Whoop. We've been rocking Whoop. We've been wearing the wearable Whoop band pretty much the entire year. And it's great. We're obsessed with it. I'm in a few different groups now with some of my buddies. You check in with your pals if you want, see how recovered they are. Try to guess what maybe they were doing last time. Maybe they're drinking a few too many adult beverages, as our friend Tiger occasionally likes to say. And that's because you're rocking the Whoop. It tracks your recovery. It tracks your respiratory rate. It tracks your sleep. You don't even have to prompt it to. It just, I hear some people saying like, oh, you have to tell it when to start, No, it's just like literally knows when you're sleeping. And it's like Santa guys, knows when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake. So get involved.
There's a lot of amazing technology that goes into this Whoop, but the fact that it knows when I fall asleep, and as far as I'm concerned, again, you're never really there in the moment that you fall asleep. It's interesting. You think about the moment you fall asleep, you're never really there. Like I couldn't tell you It's not like I'm now going to sleep and you press a button on your shoulder and you fall asleep. You just have to lay there until hopefully it happens, and the Whoop knows the exact second that it happens.
It's weird that sleeping is a thing, that like you just go into a different state. It's almost like, I don't know. It's like, that's a miracle. Like sleeping is a miracle. You enter a different state for 8 hours and then you just reemerge into the world. Like, what is that? What the fuck is that?
It's scary is what it is.
You know what's also freaky?
What is that?
Is you get 8 hours. That's the amount that people want you to get. Doctor recommended.
I only know that because of Step Brothers.
No.
Like, you need your 8 hours. I whenever I think of how many hours you need, I hear Step Brothers' dad's voice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the only way. That just can't.
It's just like the first. No, I know that it's just general knowledge, but I know that when I think of it, where I'm like, when I'm doing the math, like, all right, it's 12 o'clock. I'm going to be fucking like, I got to wake up at 7. I hear like, you need your 8 hours. I hear his voice. It's fucking weird.
Every time?
Every time.
It freaks me out when I think about it. So if you sleep for 8 hours, that means you sleep a third of every day. So if you live to be 66 years old, hopefully everybody lives longer than that, but you slept a third of those years, you were sleeping. You were unconscious. That's 22 years of sleeping.
Kind of lazy.
Like people say he lived 85. That's a great life. And you did. Congrats to that person. But it's like a third of that you were just unconscious.
Also, all the times you stayed in your fucking apartment, or like you were just like waking up, taking showers, like you really only lived like 10 years. So like if you really knock it down to like when you actually experience things, it's very, very, very small.
You can get depressed quickly if you're playing like a video game or something like that.
Oh,
like, oh my God.
Oh, what about when you binge watch?
Whoop.com. Okay, Whoop. We're going to go to Whoop.com, WHOOP.com. And if you go there today, you can join for $0 when you sign up with their 6-month membership. That is Whoop.com, WHOOP.com. Check it out. Sleep better, recover faster, train smarter this season and beyond with Whoop. Choose their 6-month plan, and it's going to be $0. Okay, we can continue the depression talk if you would like.
I was just gonna say when you binge watch TV shows, it's bad too.
I would put it in New York is that's time well spent. I would say.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's true.
A little bit.
Doing like meat, like you said, showering or like doing the dishes or like all these little things. That's like you add up all that, and you probably maybe get 15 years of doing whatever you want.
Yeah, true. Like when we did our like stream. When we did our 24-hour stream, like that was like the longest day ever, but we also were doing things. Like that's like a memory. That's an event. Yes. Like that's like, yeah, sure we weren't out. I guess you can't equate it to like leaving your house and being in like the wind, like actually like feeling sun on your face. That's what I was originally thinking. Being like all that time it's like spent like driving, commuting. But at least like commuting is like something. You're on a fucking train, you're moving into the city, like whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Living.
Trent, were you about to say meaningless before you said showering? All these meaningless, and then you cut meaning.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Definitely tasks that have no meaning. So yeah, meaningless.
Well, well, then you said showering right after that, so I got a little concerned.
I mean, that's like societal pressure. It's like, we don't want this guy stinking up.
You shower for the other people, don't you?
Right. Well, then it's interesting of what you put buckets into. Like you said, like time well spent is watching a TV show. Like it is different how people break up their day and what is impactful, what's not.
But I think like necessities, like things that you do out of necessity versus things that you do out of enjoyment, right? Like watching a TV show is exciting. Like when I hop into bed, it's like everything else is done. I get to just fucking lay here and mindlessly consume this. This is great. Whereas showering, in theory, like you're showering for a purpose to like prepare to go do something that you enjoy or something like that, but you have to like do it to get there.
Right, like when I'm sitting eating an ice cream sundae, like that's that's time well spent. Like that's it. But like
there's another third of your life.
What?
There's another third of your life that you just rattled off. Showering, and I shower. I try to shower 2 times a day. Mostly, it's like I shower at night.
You shower 2 times a day?
I try to sometimes like if I'm sweaty or running around, I do it at the same time. But it's mostly one. Yeah. It's mostly one. I mean, like if I'm running around, I'll do it at night or whatever. But I try to shower in the morning. I don't know why I said night. I think people who shower at night are crazy.
Crazy.
Is that?
When they count a shower at night
Big
as a
bath.
shower in the morning, that's just crazy.
It's like you're sleeping, you're sweating in bed. Like, I don't know.
Jake Bass, explain yourself.
I guess people say that you're like dirty while you sleep. I don't know.
I just don't like to get into bed dirty.
You got any sirens around?
But then,
or
like,
no?
you're like sitting in your own filth, like sweating underneath sheets for 8 hours, and then you just like hop out of bed and go on to your day. It's almost like you didn't shower since like 10 o'clock last night. You're really like, a lot of things happened to your pores in those times.
Well, I wash my face every morning. I have a skincare routine.
Is showering a necessity to your health?
To a certain point, I would think so. Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah,
what
hygiene, just like personal hygiene, I think affects your health.
Right.
But it's
'Cause I
probably to a lot. Like you would have to go several days, I feel like, for it to really have a negative impact. on
Several
your health.
days. I would think months.
Yeah, I think that
Right.
Yeah.
showering
Years.
is because of society, but I think you could go probably a month or two without showering, you'd be fine.
Like if someone
Yeah,
went
'cause
a
I
year
did-
without showering, would they be like, and then like everything else they did perfectly, like worked out, fucking brushed their teeth twice a day, whatever it was, like they fucking, everything they did was perfect, but they just didn't shower. Would they be significantly more unhealthy than I?
Dude, so I went hiking and was on the trail for like a month and a half. And when I came back, I stunk for like 2 weeks, my buddy said.
I know.
Because I didn't shower at all. There was like no bathing. Like it was like leave no trace. And I came back and my buddies were like, when we first, like you were horrible. You smelled horrible. And it didn't go off with like one shower. It went off with like multiple, like 5 showers. It was
But
just
did it affect your health?
not my health, but yeah, the health of others. So it is.
I would guess you're more likely to get some sort of
Right.
disease if you are not washing, right? Like that's why we wash our hands, is to like
Right.
kill like that. Everybody's obsessed with washing their hands now. So if you wash your body, that has to have some effect on like harmful particles entering your body and getting you ill.
You
Has to.
gotta think. Yeah, like it's just a cleaner. It's just more clean people.
you, that's
Everything's
okay.
cleaner. Like we're talking about like COVID and flu and everything. Like
See, that keeps talking about other people, but yeah, no, I know. I'm talking if I was just in a bubble and I just fucking didn't shower.
well, at a
Am I-
certain point, like what if you got a cut, Frankie, and you never bathe? Like that could grow an
Right.
infection. Like then
Right.
you've got an issue that for
I mean, I'm never gonna try this out. I'm just genuinely interested.
Yeah.
I'd
Jake
love-
Bass I think Jake Bass just copy pasted something from the internet, which is what he usually
Oh, here we go.
does. And it says, if you take it from a certified germ expert, you can skip showering for as long as you wish. You could probably go for as long as you want without showering without too much affecting your health, says Jason Tetro, a microbiologist and author of the Germ Files. It's good to wash your privates every few days at least to be sure they are not at risk for contamination from fecal bacteria leading to UTIs, but the rest of your body can take care of itself.
Oh.
We got that from the Germ Files.
Right,
That's,
like how?
Germ
Well, I was gonna say, how long have modern showers been around?
Yeah, that's true. Not like that long, but people have been bathing forever.
Right, but wasn't one of my Frankie facts like the bridal shower? Didn't they take one bath? Or no, or maybe it was they used to only bathe like once every couple of years or something like that, and that's why they would hold the flowers and the bouquet because it would actually mask the smell of the bride and the groom.
Yes. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know about the I mean, I guess that makes sense from the Germ Files. If we're going to take that as gospel, then yeah, you don't have to shower. So, Frankie, maybe you can just stop showering, man.
I'm not gonna do that because I enjoy my showers. I took like an hour and a half one the other day, and you ever like sit there and it's like 30 minutes have gone by, and you're like, I really haven't done anything in here yet. I haven't put any soap on. I've just kind of just stood here. You know what I actually do too? Like I bring my phone in now, and I could just, if it hits your back at the right angle, because like I have a little ledge on the other side of the shower that water doesn't spritz onto it. So like if I just like in the morning or if it's really cold out, I just get in there real hot and I just scroll. I scroll the phone, and that could take 45 to. I could watch a whole YouTube video.
That's a true addict.
Jeez. Yeah, that's a problem.
But that's only if I really want to spend some time in there.
So.
Smack myself around a bit.
You've tweeted before. I've read one of your tweets concocted naked in the shower before.
I don't know. Maybe a
Those
couple
are
of
literal
retweets.
shower thoughts. Those could be the tweets.
Maybe a couple tweets in there. I'm trying to think. I
Maybe
usually watch
one
YouTube.
if you're on your
I usually
phone for that long.
consume my content in the shower, like if I have
Gotcha.
to.
You're not creating your content.
No.
I like a
No.
good Saturday morning shower. Those are definitely lengthier than my weekday showers.
When I was in
Yeah.
high school, like when it was like cold winter or like prior to a hockey game or something like that, I would take a long shower to warm my body up.
Yeah.
You ever do that?
Yeah, nice warm
Before
shower
our-
goes a long way.
Before
Yeah.
our golf matches, whenever we play these fucking 4-man scrambles, I act as though, and it does nothing for my body, but I try and get it on all the joints of the shoulders. Like I act like that's my therapy, the shower. Do you guys do the same? Like
I'll
I'm
do
like
that. I'll try to
stretching
turn
in it.
into a
I let
steamer.
it hit certain spots. I'm like, all right, I'm doing something. I'm cracking. I crack my back in there, which is dangerous because you could slip and fall. I'll be dead in one of these hotel rooms.
Yeah, I think there's a little something to like getting warm water on like certain spots of your muscle kind of loosens you up. I think there's
Like
gotta
I
be
get it
something
right.
to
Like I lift my shoulder and I hit it right there and I do it a couple times. I'm like, oh, I'm loosening. I'm definitely loosening something up. Yeah.
How bad are your shoulders?
Really, really bad, dude.
Yeah.
Really bad. My shoulders and both my elbows. I'm still waiting for a what's up doc to figure out. One day, are they just going to snap? Because, like, I know they're both torn. I know I have torn ligaments in both my shoulders and both my elbows. One day, is it going to get so bad that there's no going back?
Yes.
Because like
I
when
think
I
so.
lift up, when I do the chicken dance, like for everyone listening, if you're a doctor, when I do like the chicken dance movement and I move my elbow out to the right, my shoulder pops right there. Can you guys hear that? No?
No.
Oh, right there. No?
Just hit the microphone so then we think you.
Oh, whatever.
Get it-
It's loud,
get it
bro.
closer.
It's popping. Okay.
Get it closer.
No? All right.
I just heard you rustling around. I couldn't.
Yeah.
All right. Well, whatever. For everyone listening, when I do the chicken dance, it pops, and I hear it. It pops right on like the right side of the rotator cuff, and I can actually feel something move around. So that's got to be a torn ligament. So it doesn't do that on the left yet, but I know one of these days I'm going to do something, and it's just going to go boom, and I'm just going to be left with just a hanging fucking duck. Just
Golf podcast listeners about your shoulder and your elbows when I'm pretty sure you have access to doctors.
yeah, but you know, it's if I go to a doctor, I told you this, they're not going to let me leave. So I
That's
don't.
my biggest fear. I don't know. Have we talked about that? I've said to Kevin and John on radio that my biggest fear about hospitals is that I'm going to go there and they're going to be like, you can't leave.
Yeah, it's true, dude. I won't be able to do anything. Like I could play I play golf fine. And that's what the problem with the shoulder is that it's all like over the shoulder stuff and drumming, like reaching for the fucking cymbal or like playing the fucking like when I'm playing the hi-hat like a million times, my hand just goes numb. My whole arm just goes numb. It locks up like a motherfucker. Whatever.
It's not good. I don't think that's good.
Somebody send me a detailed email as to what I need to do. Don't tell me to go get fucking physical therapy because physical therapy is not going to repair the shoulder muscle.
Would you take steroids? Would you take HGH?
I would take anything.
Of course you would.
I would
Oh,
take
yeah.
anything at this point.
Yeah.
What do I care about? My fucking nuts shrinking? Good luck finding them anyway. You know, it's like, who cares?
Hey.
Good to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, who cares?
I got a little distracted by thinking about Freddie's
And also,
nuts shrinking,
is surgery going to keep me out for a long time? Because that's what I don't want to do.
I think shoulder surgery does keep you out for a while.
Yeah, that's
You
how I
gotta
got into the
think.
band. Smitty got shoulder surgery, and I slipped right in there.
Oh, I see. You're nervous.
Yes. And if I had known that a global pandemic was going to shut the world down for 9 months, I probably would have gotten it in the beginning of this, and I would have been crystal clean. I would have been using my shoulder to fucking wipe my ass. I would have been the most nimble person in the world. This thing would have been like Gumby at this point, but it's gotten worse. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That's
Good enough.
That's whatever. It's fine. I think.
Riggs, what were you thinking about? You said you got distracted.
I don't know.
Did you play golf with
possibly get
Max
distracted on
Homa
this
yesterday?
podcast.
Did you play
I played
golf with
third-
Max Homa?
I played 13 holes. I got to tell you, Matt. So it's always really surprising when you play golf with these guys. Like Max is he pipes the golf ball. Like he was hitting it stunningly farther than, and like there were some drives that I hit pretty well, dude. And he was way up there. There was a par 3 uphill. It was 260 par 3 uphill. And he hit a 3-iron that was just nutted, like right at the flag. And I just was so stunned at his game. And we were just ripping around. Like we were just extremely casual, cruising around, like not even, no grinding. And he was a little Pat Perez-esque. And he just is really, so he's obviously somebody we're going to play in the scramble at some point. It might be this year. It might be next year. It might be in 2 years. Who knows? He's obviously going to be a scramble opponent at some point. And I'm very worried about him. He's a problem out there. He rolls it extremely well. One thing I did want to bring up is we're going to the first tee, and the starter says like, hey, there's actually this young kid. He's a college-age kid who's from California. Max is a Cal guy, and he's wondering if he could join up for a few holes. You guys were like, yeah, absolutely. And his name was Max as well. And there was like after the 6th or 7th hole, there's a little like halfway house or comfort station, whatever you want to call it. Max like, you want to get a couple beers? Like, yeah, absolutely. So we each get a couple beers. And this kid goes in there and he gets a couple Trulies, and he goes up to the tee and just by himself, he just shotguns a Truly and then tees off. And Max and I were talking. We were like, man, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. He just did a solo. He's a super nice kid. And he just, I mean, I guess, you're college age. You're looking to have like a fucking Sunday. But this was at like sunset. It was like 4:30 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. We're on like the 6th hole. We're only playing 10 or 12 holes. And he just went up to the tee by himself, shotgunned a Truly, and teed off.
Did he yell what day? What was it?
Sunday?
Oh, no. Well, it was Sunday. I thought it was maybe Saturday.
Oh.
Just fucking a little like did he scream like for the boys, or did he ask about the pizza reviews?
And
see, that would have made sense.
Right.
Shotguns are usually like, you're almost like trying to whip the crowd into a frenzy. Like it's a group thing. You get a couple guys doing it, and it's like, we're going to shotgun these beers or these Trulies. So to just do it like almost secretive, like on the first tee is something.
And he didn't like ask us if we were like, hey, he like you're saying, Trent, a lot of times it could be celebratory, like, oh, sweet birdie there. You guys want a shotgun for that? I'd be like, all right, yeah, sure, we'll do it. Or it might be like, hey, our group's only dragging right now. Like, we should shotgun something. And it's fine. I could say totally understandable. He just kind of did it solo and then teed off. I loved it. I respected it, but it was out of the clouds. Maybe he was nervous.
It feels like he's like with a Barstool guy and a PGA pro, right. And he's like, I want to be cool, and like I'm going to show you I can shotgun beer. I feel like that's very college-esque. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. I feel like he was a little nervous and was like, I'm going to break the ice here, show him how fucking I can slug this Truly down.
Dude, it was like the 7th hole. Like we've been playing for fucking an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like it was out of nowhere. It was very funny. But the kid was good. The kid had two. The kid Max had the most interesting shot to witness. So he's a good player, very solid player. And he didn't hit that ball particularly far. He was hitting it like similar distance to me, so he didn't hit it that far. And we were playing the tips with Max, and the second tee, the kid kind of like hooked his tee shot. It was in the fairway, but he hooked it so it didn't go very far. And he had I think he said he hit a 4 hybrid in, and the pin's like in the middle left part of the green. And he hits this 4 hybrid that's drawing at like the left edge of the green. So it looks like it's just going to miss the green left. And it fucking lands short of the green, bounces really high in the air and a little bit to the right towards the pin, and then gets over this ridge and spins and stops. And me and Homo were like, what the fuck was that? And the kid didn't even see it because it was like hooking left of the green. So he was just like, all right, I'm like, that's up there. It's fine shot. And he stepped up. It was like 10 feet away, made the putt, and it hit. We could see 2 sprinkler heads. He literally hit the top, like, right of a sprinkler head. He had to have. Kicked way up in the air. Oh, almost broke my light.
Whoa.
Oh. Kicked way up in the air to the right, spun, and stopped like 10 feet away. It was the best bounce I've ever seen in golf.
Oh, shit.
Well, Arizona has a bunch of bounces. During our scramble, when fucking Lurch hit that stone, and it came back into the fairway. Like we had 3 balls out of bounds, and you hit that rock, and it just went right down the middle. Like
that's right.
I feel like Arizona is very much like you don't know what the fuck's happening when you hit the ball. You could land anywhere.
For those who listen to the audio version of this podcast, Riggs just went up top, and I think he hit some sort of light fixture above him.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, nice tilt.
And he was telling that story about
That was a good expert tilt.
and it was just he fucking crushed that light.
Lurch, how long was your drive? You guys drove from – where'd you drive from?
Horrible. Jersey to Florida. That is a long one. Although my brother, we started getting catch-up calls. He put on his Instagram account. He goes, we'll take anybody's catch-up call. So that actually like expedited because every half hour or so we'd get a call from somebody and talk to them for a little bit.
Such a Lurch family thing to do.
The drive, I will say, I was like, this is almost a business idea. Like just when you're driving somewhere, you like activate an app that says like, I'm down for a catch-up call. Because everybody loves a call when you're on the call, especially you got time, you got nothing to do. Kind of chat with somebody, you catch up. People called me from all different parts of life. It was great. But it was, it's a good 17-hour drive. So we left at 3 p.m., got to Fayetteville, North Carolina, stayed in a nice little Holiday Inn with a luscious bed, I will say. And then we got up at 6 a.m. the next day and finished it.
17 hours is good.
That's a good
run.
boat, for sure.
Yeah.
I got a little head cold, though, from it, which makes me nervous beyond belief. My brother
What do you mean head cold? I mean,
I got the sniffles.
Okay. That's it's not a good time.
Something going on that,
Right. I know something's going on. I'm just,
we got something going on over here. That
right, I'm tucked in a little room here and I just have a little head cold. So
that's tough. That's tough after a 17-hour drive to come down with something that now may ruin or affect the way that your next 2 weeks are going to go down.
Buddy, you think that I don't know what's going on, that I'm not worried about that, all right? You sit there and you're all black. You always talk about the light in your room. One of the worst lighting days I've ever seen from you, okay? I know what's going on in my room, and it's a nightmare over here. It's an absolute nightmare.
I saw you hit the cough button and you took a little
It's a good place to
Kleenex
quarantine.
to your face there.
I guess. I will say the sun feels good when you're, when you got a head cold.
They do say that helps the recovery.
I'm nervous. No doubt about it, I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not seeing you.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially
honestly, best of luck with that shit. That's fucking that. I mean, that's a mental nightmare.
And one would assume that you drove 17 hours to avoid potentially getting something at the airport.
One would assume, but here we are, and we are.
So that would suck if that was all for nothing.
Couldn't agree with you anymore here, Riggs, on this point, because I'll tell you what, I don't know if there's a worse spot to be coming around whatever holiday you celebrate to
get the sniffles
with the sniffles and potentially a cough from time to time.
You want to be the furthest away from the sniffles as you possibly can from December 23rd to January 2nd.
I couldn't tell you how people look at you when you might sniffle or cough. It's a look of, I know there's a 6-foot rule. You better not even come my direction.
Let me ask you. Can you still you have any issues with taste or smell?
No, thank God, because
okay, that's good.
If that goes, then I might just go out.
I know someone that's lost their. I know someone
quickly. You know where I'm at, Trent, is where you touched the Atlantic Ocean for that very first time. Vero Beach. That's where I'm at.
I'm very close with someone that contracted the virus, and this was like a month ago. They still do not have smell. They have taste. Can't smell a thing. It's crazy. Just can't fucking smell. Like, put Vicks in front of their nose, and there's like nothing.
Good time to run the no shower policy. Why don't you just not shower for the next 2 months?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like you see them like it's just like the other night it was like someone was burping like in the group, like they had French onion soup, and they were burping, and I was like, who the fuck is burping? And the person that was sitting next to them was just like, I had no clue. I'm like, are you fucking you can't smell what's going on right next to you right now? Because that's unlivable to sit next to that. And like, nope, nothing. I mean, I'm talking, think of like the most potent shit in the world, just not even a sniff. It feels like a superpower.
Yeah, I know someone who got corona around August, they said, and they still can't really taste.
The taste one would fuck me up because, like, what does that even feel like? Like what? Like you just eat like Sour Patch Kids and you don't get anything? I mean, Trent,
That's what
don't
go on
you?
a diet.
Trent, show me both your hands right now. All right, there you go. All right.
That's why I've been eating so many Sour Patch Kids to know that I don't have Corona. So I'm like, oh yeah, I can taste that one. Oh, I can taste that one. That one.
Let me ask you guys something. Are you guys, I've had some steaks with the fellas here. Are you guys filet mignon guys? Or, tell me what your best cut of steak is. Because I think I've been a certain cut. Is that the term we're using, cut?
Yeah.
And then I've now switched based off of eating something off of a friend's plate. They gave me a little piece of theirs, and I'm now switched forever.
My favorite meal, probably my favorite meal in the world, is a filet mignon with mashed potatoes and probably asparagus. That's probably my favorite meal that you can have.
Okay.
I would say, like, I love steak and I'll eat steak whenever it's put in front of me, but I'm not a steak guy. Like, I'm not a part of steak Twitter where if you say I like my steak medium, I don't jump down your fucking throat. Like, I would like a good filet mignon as well.
So I'm not a filet mignon, just not enough meat when they serve it. It's usually like 8 or 12 ounce. That's just not going to cut it.
Thick.
Yeah, but I'm a bone-in ribeye guy.
Okay.
And I'll just gnaw on that bone. But yeah, I'm that way.
So I've always been a filet guy, filet mignon. It's my go-to. It's juicy. I like the consistency of it. It's more of like it melts in your mouth. Like it's almost like you're eating buttered steak. So to me, like that is when you go to a really good steakhouse, maybe you get a chard on the outside. It's the best of both worlds. I got this at a great steakhouse the other night, Teller's. It's a place on Long Island. Shout out to them. They're also struggling, even though it's a high-class fucking steakhouse. They need their huge fucking bills coming in. People think that all these expensive places just do well. They don't. Like they have expenses because their fucking place is ridiculously expensive. This place used to be a bank, and now it's a restaurant. So it's called Teller's, and their wine cellar is the old like money cellar. Really fucking cool shit. Really cool shit. But I got a fillet.
Yeah, Vault, is that what you're
Vault.
looking for?
Vault.
Yeah.
So I had a fillet, and then my buddy just slivered off a little piece with just a little piece of a New York strip. And this was an expensive New York strip. I got to tell you, that was the most flavorful steak that I had ever gotten. I think the filet mignon doesn't have the flavor. It's got the consistency and the chewiness and like the melt in your mouth. It's satisfying. But if you want to talk straight flavor, holy fuck, did that New York strip blow my socks off?
Really?
I heard there's another cut that's a mixture of filet and New York strip. Is that the T-bone?
I don't know that, but I will say it might just be a grass is always the greener case too, because you've been gnawing on that fillet all dinner, and then you get one piece of something else.
It was just a little firmer and a little just like you bit into it.
Delicious.
It was almost like you bit into an orange. It all just fucking juiced into the. I was like, whoa. You
ever get a cut of a tri-tip steak?
I mean, I'm 160 pounds. Like, I really don't. I'm not the big. Like, I'm just this. No, dry tip to me sounds like a big Midwestern man.
So either way, well, support your local business. Monmouth Meats, shout out to him. This guy Stu, he's got some delicious meats in Red Bank.
What is it called?
A tri-tip.
See, that's out of my league.
It's a hunk of meat. I will say that thing weighs about the size, like weighs as much as you.
Right. I knew it right when you said it. I mean, I got to stick with the New York strip or the 8-ounce fillet. Like once you start getting into bone-in ribeyes and T-bones even, like I'm just don't even. I mean, that's all going to go inside this body. No chance.
Put a steak on a basket of fries and let the juices fall right down on those fries and all those things after. Oh, wow.
I'm going to try a New York strip next time, Frank.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it was fucking, it was juicy. It was really, it's thick enough to still get you through the filet factor. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm sure a lot of these people are going to be really nice about our assessment of steak, all the people that are listening to this, because, Glenny Balls tried to get into the whole meat business real quick with like brisket and smoking meats, and he got ran out of town real fast with one fucking meat cook.
As fast as you can get around town, he got
I'm letting you know now, I don't give a fuck about what your favorite steak is. I just wanted to know from the boys. Like, maybe a New York strip's, like, not that good or it's not – I don't care. I enjoyed it more, and I thought I'd share that on the podcast.
Some people – what is it? There's, like, an old famous story. Is it from Fore? but like if he would like interview people, and if they put like a sauce on their steak before they bit into it, the guy would have a real problem with them, because like he wanted you to enjoy the meat. So before you threw like your A1 steak sauce on
I
top
agree
of
with
it,
that.
Yeah,
So-
I do too.
That's like people who put salt on their pasta before you
Right.
take a bite.
right.
You don't think that we cooked it well? Like we
like
made
I
it
watched,
delicious.
like my mom will make it for someone, and I watched her put salt in the water and like do it the right, like it's salted, like try it first, and then like, dude,
Right. I
don't
put a
even
little
wanna get into- I don't
TLC
want to get
into
into
that.
it.
No, but I put a little TLC into that meal, and then all of a sudden you're just gonna cover an A1 sauce, and now it's just
What's like why did I even make it the way I made it? Like, you're just gonna make it taste the way you want it to taste.
right. I know nothing about steak, but I know that using steak sauce is incredibly disrespectful to the person who made it.
It's like it just tastes like the steak sauce,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
That's all it tastes like.
Like, yeah, it's just crazy to me. That steak, regardless of where you get it, will now taste like an A1 steak, because no matter what
Right.
no matter what kind of seasoning, or no matter how many times they smacked it or put peppers on it, it's just fucking A1 steak. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
It's like you start putting truffle on shit, and it's just truffle. There's this guy that I follow. He's a funny dude on Instagram. I've been following him. He does impressions of things. Like he's a funny guy, man. He's way out there, but I don't know his fucking Instagram handle. But he does impressions of things. So he did an impression of the Titanic iceberg watching the movie Titanic, and he's like going through the whole thing like it's a TikTok. He's like, guys, just wait until the end. I'm telling you. And he's like talking as if he's an actor. He's like, oh, this scene was really hard to like, whatever. It's very, very funny. He's like, you see all those people in the water? I did that. Like, I did that. But he also does one of truffle talking to the other flavors in the meal. It's very funny, where he's like, I don't know what you guys have been working with here, but I just got brought on. And if you guys all just follow me in line, we're going to get to the place that we need to get to, but it's going to be my show. Like, I don't want to be cocky about it, but I've been years on the business, and I've noticed that no matter what I do, I just take control. And if you all just like accept that now, we're going to have a much better working experience. He's like, you have your peppers, you have your onions, but once the truffle comes in, it's over. Like, it's just a truffle meal, which is so true.
It is
so true. I got to find this guy. I got to plug him. I mean, he's got 1 million followers.
I'm glad nobody on here is a steak sauce guy, because that's weird. I've never, I just never say yes. They're like, would you like any sauce, steak sauce? I was like, nope, I'm just gonna eat the steak.
JT first man.
As a kid, I remember using A1 sauce, but that was a stupid fucking.
Same. But I will say, if you bite into the steak and then you ask for it after, I got no problem with you. Like,
don't enjoy your meal.
Right.
It's the same thing as me getting
covered up hot
Coca-Cola.
sauce.
Same thing as me getting Coca-Cola. Like, I'm not going to get pressured into this. I gave the beer and the drink a chance. Today I want a Coke. I'm going to get a Coca-Cola. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Okay, store.barstoolsports.com. We got a bunch of good items on there, so it's a good time to remind you. You got to get through winter. We got hoodies, we got beanies, we got all kinds of fleeces. There's just more items in there than you could possibly imagine. We sell a ton of them because we got a lot of options, and they're very cool. So do yourself a favor, go to store.barstoolsports.com. Obviously, we prefer if you check out the Foreplay line of things, but there's a lot of different options. There's different franchises. There's very, very, very unique and cool logos across all of our different franchises. So go to store.barstoolsports.com and check them out. The women, the LPGA finished up. Jin Young Ko, who's number 1 in the world, who only played in 4 events the entire year, won $1.1 million to win the whole thing. I didn't catch pretty much any of it because Charlie and Tiger played. So, if this were any other week, as someone who has many, many times gone on all sorts of late night Twitter runs about women's golf, this just wasn't the weekend for me. Like, there's no other man, woman, any athlete on earth that would have trounced or trumped me watching Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods playing golf together this weekend. So I just wasn't able to really watch much of it or catch much of it. She ended up winning, I believe, by like 5. And again, was not in the country for most of the entire year due to the pandemic. Only had played 3 events up to this one. This was her 4th, and she won it by 5 shots. Number 1 in the world, $1.1 million, and just a pretty dominant performance. So awesome work. I didn't catch it.
I didn't either, but I also didn't catch a lot of the Charlie Tiger stuff because the coverage was fucking shit.
Oh my God, how do we not talk about that?
It's fucking shit, man. How is it 2020 and I'm still thinking in my head, boy, they should just put the golf on.
You know what? You know what, Trent? We have a lot of reach and access on this podcast. We've interviewed fucking professional golfers. Our boss has been inside the White House interviewing the president of the free world. We have to have access to someone that makes a decision on programming on TV. We have to know someone that's willing to speak for the industry. And if there is an answer, and if there is a fucking real answer, then they would have no problem on coming on this goddamn show while we're talking about cuts of meat and us not showering and shit, and a real fucking chance to speak to our fucking world and our our listeners, and be like, hey guys, I know that you guys complain every single fucking weekend about this, especially when something like this happens with Charlie Woods playing and then we got to reshow it. But here's the reason why it's impossible for us to achieve what you're asking us. Then I will be all ears. I will apologize and I will go forward and I'll get all the subscriptions I need to get. But until then, I will not accept what's happening. I won't accept it.
And I think everything you're saying is fair. And if that person, whoever they may be, wants to come on this show and speak their piece, please do it. But we've been running into this. I mean, ever since we started this podcast, we've been beating the drum about them not showing golf on TV. And we always hear a litany of excuses. And what we always say is just figure it out. Just figure it out. It can't possibly be as complicated as they're making it seem. It's TV. There's golf on TV. We want to see it. Just show it to us.
There's no
excuse.
excuse.
It's stunning because the cameras are there, right? So, like, they're just going to, in an hour, you can't watch it now, but in an hour, it's just going to be on. So, like, well, no, how about you just turn the fucking cameras on now at this moment in time, and we'll just be able to watch it. Or worst case, like if someone like us was on site, just go live. Like have somebody go live with a fucking iPhone so we can at least see what's going on. I can at least see Tiger and Charlie chatting with each other, laughing, fist bumping, JT and Charlie laughing with each other. Great. I just want to be able to see it. I want to have a visual representation, not in photographs, but in video form of what is happening in the golf in front of my face. And the fact that you can't get that, the fact we can go live at any moment with anybody. And yeah, sure, there are contractual stuff. There's broadcasting rights. I guarantee you the fucking partners that are involved in those would want to be on because everybody wants to watch it. So if everybody wants to watch it, there's going to be more money. The cameras are already there. Put it on fucking TV. And it's also crazy that they couldn't just, like, the Peacock and all the bullshit, just, like, stream it. And eventually, like, Sunday they were able to stream it for, like, an extra hour or something on golfchannel.com, which even then that fucking got interrupted and went out. But, like, if there are these TV and broadcasts, okay, like enough of us are streaming. There weren't even options to watch it at first. Like you literally, Danny Rappaport was the only person in the world who actually was able to witness and then tell and translate to everyone what was happening with Charlie and Tiger Woods for the first like 6 holes of the first time that they ever played golf together ever in a tournament. It was insane.
I just don't know how, when the announcement is made that Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods are going to be playing together for the first time ever, like you said, Riggs, that there is not immediately a meeting where it says, okay, this is going to be huge. This is going to light the internet on fire. Everybody's going to want to see this. How do we make sure 100% that every shot that these guys hit is going to be streamable or on TV or somewhere that people can watch? The fact that that doesn't happen, it blows my mind.
They had the Voyager with Josh Garcia on NBC, while Charlie Woods stepped up to the tee box with Tiger fucking Woods in a golf tournament against Justin Thomas and his father. You had the Voyager with Josh Garcia on NBC, and then you had Brewers reshowing of the 1966 Western Open on the Golf Channel. How could that possibly be growing the game? And you know what? We love Lady Golf. We love the LPGA, but they were showing like the LPGA, like Ticonderoga Open. Like, this is the biggest thing for the sport that you could possibly think of that was going on that weekend. The biggest thing, everyone's sitting around waiting to watch it. It was fucking huge. Our tweets are going crazy town. I mean, every single picture, fucking warm-ups. Dude, I'm going crazy. The PGA Tour went live at one point, and all they did was just show the driving range, and it was like a shaky camera. It was the best footage I've ever seen in my entire life. They went from JT to the dad, then just like they were like peering through JT's mom. Like every time she'd move a second, you'd see a glimpse of Charlie Woods' swing. And then like Tiger would go to the bag. Just do that. It's fine. Show that instead of Josh Garcia. Who the fuck is Josh Garcia? And second of all, I don't care what has been planned, what Coca-Cola paid for. You rearrange shit. This is why Barstool's successful, because this is a fucking media outlet and a media fucking company that just gets it done. We see shit and we just do it. Imagine Dave Portnoy was running the fucking ship on this golf tournament and we didn't show Charlie Woods and Tiger Woods tee up on hole 1. He would legitimately murder someone. He'd be like, I don't care where we have to put this, but it just like, dude, they actually showed the match. They replayed it as if it was live. So like, there are idiots out there who watched it. Meanwhile, on Twitter, JT had already won. On NBC channel, Tiger Woods was still playing golf when the tournament was over in real life. What fucking universe are we living in? How easy is it to just show it? Just show it. And if someone doesn't come on this show, I'm going to do something drastic. Because I don't know what that's going to be, but someone needs to fucking come on this show and explain to us, like, oh, like, you don't understand. Like, we have, like, 6 months to plan stuff, and, like, Charlie entered early, and, like, you know, with coronavirus, it was supposed to be this time. Explain that to me, because I sat around all fucking weekend waiting for this thing, and I couldn't even follow tweets on it because Tiger Tracker got sent to the moon. It's just a fucking disgrace what's going on with that. Just show it on TV. It's the year 2020, man. It's fucking crazy. Me and Trent can stream video games from our rooms while I'm smacking my grundle around to millions of people on YouTube. Who, like, there's access to billions of people. There's a dude in a village in Africa that can go live off a fucking hotspot better than NBC can while Tiger Woods is fucking playing golf. It's crazy to me. It's crazy.
You just got to figure it out. Like, that's it. Like,
Do they not have meetings? Are they not embarrassed? Do they ever tweet out like, we're embarrassed? You know what? That's what I want. I want NBC and PGA Tour to be like, we are embarrassed right now.
Yeah, and that person, if they do come on this show, they are going to give us a ton of reasons, and whatever they may be, that's fine. And unfortunately, our response is going to be, you just have to figure it out.
It's like my favorite movie, Whiplash, with J.K. Simmons. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but fucking J.K. Simmons refuses to get out of his face, and he goes, tell me you're upset. How fucking upset. And he makes him say, I'm upset while he cries. That's what I want from him. That's what I want from the Golf Channel. I want all these fucking motherfuckers to sit there and tell me how upset they are that they couldn't show that shit live. It's a waste. Why are we getting retweets when you could be getting live views? It's crazy.
Couldn't agree more. Spot on. It's infuriating.
It's
it makes zero sense. I don't know if it has anything to do with – it can't because it's been like this forever. But if it has anything to do with the fact that Golf Channel's relocating, morning drive shut down, there's all kinds of layoffs, which is very sad going on at Golf Channel. And they're obviously tied NBC, ownership, whatever. I don't know what it's tied to. I would love to get somebody on who can explain those things and just give very valid, legitimate answers, because that would not, like you said, we work in media. We work for a very large, very popular, very often in the news media company. And this company just figures it the fuck out. That's what we do. And the fact that the folks that are in charge of these networks, these massive networks that have all of these production trucks, all of these production personnel, that they have these contracts, that they have done thousands of tournaments, can't figure out how to get the fucking golf shots on television in front of our eyeballs when we want them, is crazy town. And it's been like this for a long time. This isn't the first time. We bitch about this all the time. We bitch about the coverage gaps when they pop up and you got to watch fucking Michigan State basketball go into the third overtime instead of watching the tournament that you want to watch. It's infuriating. And it really was put on the forefront this weekend when people were actually watching, trying as hard as they could to watch golf and couldn't figure it the fuck out. Like, you cannot have to try your ass off and try all kinds of different channels and try all kinds of different streaming and then pay for something when a lot of us already pay for shit anyways. Like, you already pay for cable. You already pay for PGA Tour Live. You pay for all this shit already, and you can't fucking watch Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods play golf. You couldn't watch their first tee shots. I've still never seen their first tee shots. I've never seen them.
Nothing. We don't know if they got announced. We don't know if they say anything or if they joke, if they chuckle. We missed that. You made us miss that. They made us – and the PGA Tour has the balls to tweet out – oh, they knew. I tweeted out, and we were all tweeting out, this is a fucking disgrace. And immediately they scurried around. Fucking the Jeff Shacklefords of the world were like, nah, we got to fucking – so they fucking tweeted out, this is where you can this is where you can watch on stream. So I clicked on it like a fucking mule or a sheep. I sat there and I was like, okay, let me fucking click in. And it just said the coverage had ended. So I screenshot it and I quote tweeted their thing. And I wrote, what? Like, wait, what? I was like, are you like, what do you mean? Like, what? And they deleted that tweet. And then they put up a new stream, and they said, you can now watch it on this streaming account. And I tweeted it. I said, the coverage has not yet begun. And I said, what? Like, Tiger Woods was on the third hole at this point. And it's like, how much harder are you going to make it for us?
That's the other thing that's frustrating is when it happens, and it happens a lot because people are always tweeting about it, you never get an explanation from anybody. Like, again, to compare it to Barstool, if Barstool does something or something happens regarding Barstool, Dave will make a video and say, this is what's going on.
Yes.
This is what we're going to do about it. And this is how we're going to fix it. NBC, PJ Tour, Golf Channel, they just like put out a measly little tweet that is faceless and nameless and says, hopefully watch this stream now. Like, that's not what people want. They want answers. They want people to be saying, we're working on this. This is what we're doing. And they just do none of that.
Why is Barstool the only company in the world that's allowed to tell its customers and consumers of their content what's going on? I don't understand that. That has nothing to do with like being safe or advertisers or like traditional media. Like NBC has no right to not tell us why that fucking golf tournament's on. Like, I changed my day around it. They actually like lied. Like they say it was going to be on TV. It's just not. Like, that they actually have an obligation to apologize and probably refund me and send me like a bottle of fucking vodka for what happened. Like, I want a gift basket from NBC for missing that fucking coverage. Why does it only happen with golf? Is it because they're not allocating the sales to the right things? Like, was that Josh Allen show or whatever that was that the Voyager? Is that sold more than the fucking Tiger Woods and Son tournament? Is that what you're telling me, that they had obligations to show the rest of that fucking show? Like, is that like, have you ever missed the first pitch of a baseball game? Have you ever missed the first pitch of an NFL game? Have you ever missed the opening tip of Indiana State IPUSOU versus fucking Iowa Corn Ferry Tour? Like, have you ever missed any of these fucking basketball games? No, only golf. Why? Because it's not sold? Because it's not a major sport? Like, I don't get it. Tiger Woods is playing. Have you ever heard of him?
Well, I think that, yeah, the restriction on the, like, when they screw up the feed that they present you on Twitter, like, that's just a mess. But it is also a mess that TV is still controlled by, like, the channel and what's able to be seen on that. Like, the fact that when you have to watch, like, Michigan State versus Ohio State basketball in triple overtime, but you want to watch something else is just a disgrace that, like, you just can't create, like, a sub-link, like, within the TV just to select something else. Everything is, like, a smart TV now. Like, no, I want to watch this game. There are people that are actually, like, shooting it like it is live there somewhere. It's being captured somewhere. Just let me watch that. Like, make that possible is just a mess, because it does suck that the content where you sit down, Frankie, you change your day to watch, like, that piece of content, you can't actually watch, because even though it's being collected, you can't actually view it anywhere. It's just
happening.
Like,
it's
all the time.
It's happening. It's being filmed. It's
Right.
actually being repurposed somewhere. Like, because they know that they're actually saving the footage and then they're going to show it as if it's live in 2 hours.
Right.
And I'm paying for it. I have a fucking subscription. So all these things happen and then they don't follow through. I think someone needs to be fired for this tournament. They do. Someone should go be jobless around the holidays because of this.
Oh, just imagine if
someone would at Barstool, dude, if All Business Pete did this, if Barstool paid for, instead of the PNC Championship, and it was the Barstool Championship, and we got fucking Tiger Woods and his son to play, and we got it on NBC, we fucking struck the biggest deal in Barstool history. And they tried to tell Dave that the Josh Richards show, the Voyager, Josh Richards, it was on NBC. He would actually, I don't know what he'd do. He'd figure out like a plug somewhere to unplug the show and put ours on. He would just get it done. They are getting their dick stomped in with fucking size 18 shoes by Netflix, YouTube, fucking Hulu. Traditional TV has no clue what the fuck they're doing. Peacock, they're like, it's free if you have NBC. It's impossible to download Peacock. It's impossible to know what's happening. For someone that's savvy with it, like, you never know what tournament's on. Dude, 3 times it sent you to 3 different tournaments on that fucking NBC app.
Yeah.
Like, it never went to the PNC.
Right.
It went to 2 different tournaments. It went to like some Western fucking thing. It was crazy. So I'm done fucking ranting about it.
Make it easy. That's what I don't get. Make it easy and figure it the fuck out. That's what we would do. It's clearly possible because other companies just do it. And other sports just do it. Everything is just figured out. Everything's on. It's available. If you want to watch, if you pay for your fucking like NHL center ice, and I never miss a fucking puck drop ever. Never. Not even close. It's not even allowed. I'm allowed to watch it in fucking 2 different regions with 2 different sets of announcers anytime that I want. I can watch anything. It's the same with golf. Like if I'm paying for PGA Tour Live and I have a cable subscription or a service subscription, YouTube TV, whatever it is, I should just be able to watch all of the golf, especially when the biggest draw in the history of the game and probably all of sports is playing with his fucking son for the first time. And every account in all of sport in the world is tweeting about it, talking about it. The fact that we couldn't watch it, it was nuts. We had to wait for PGA Tour to repurpose the actual clips and put them out on Twitter to know what actually happened. It was just insane. So figure it out. That's the final message. Figure it the fuck out. And we want to talk to somebody. We want to interview somebody. We want to put them through the ringer. Toughest interview in golf. We want to do it right here, and we want to figure out why the fuck TV coverage doesn't make sense.
Maybe they have one answer. Maybe they're just like, here's the answer, and we're all just like, fuck, we're idiots. Like, we never thought of that. But until that moment, we're in the right. They're in the wrong. They have a product they refuse to show on in a timely manner, and we are angry about it, and they have to come on our podcast and explain it. Some stoolie that works in the fucking NBC, there's a studio in which they press play somewhere. I know there is. There has to be. I want someone that's in that room saying this is why we couldn't show it that day. That specific day, Saturday at 12 o'clock, 11:48, when Tiger Woods teed off at the PNC Championship, why couldn't that be on TV? Answer that question or else you're cowards, and I'm coming for every single person that's there until that they apologize to me.
There you go.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard. I gotta get a steak.